All right, we are back with the OGs of Girls and Geese. My name is Shama, the program director. It's an honor and a privilege to be sitting with these ladies to be able to talk about the beginning days of what is now known as Girls and Geese on a national level. So, if you all go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll go ahead and jump in.
Yep, I'll go first. My name is Ashley Nguyen, and I started Girls and Geese back in 2009. I started training jiu-jitsu in 2005, and I'm a black belt. And I trained, so back in 2005, I trained jiu-jitsu all the time. And then since about 2020, I've trained jiu-jitsu off and on, here and there, randomly when I'm bored or feel like it. I have too many kids now.
Nice. Whoever wants to go next, jump on in.
Okay, so I'm Belinda. I've been training since 2008, I believe. I started at Elite, and that's how I met Ashley, and that's how I got involved with Girls and Geese. And I'm a black belt, and I train still when I can, mostly when I can. I don't know what else to say. I'm still training, and I'm still involved with Girls and Geese.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to jump in. So I'm the daughter of Belinda Serrano and Vicki Serrano, and I am also a black belt, and I am currently training right now at Henzo Gracie Mount Bellevue, and I am still training.
Very cool.
Hi, this is Tatiana. I actually started training with Ashley at Elite, and it's been 15 years. So I was told. I didn't even realize it's been that long. But wow, I started because my kids started at 4 and 6, and thought I needed to be able to answer their questions because I didn't know anything, and then joined. Ashley started the women's program, and it was just a couple of us there, but it was pretty cool. Even though there were so few of us, it was such a I don't know. It was very difficult to learn, but it was also empowering at the same time. What else? So it's been 15 years. I started at Elite with her, and now I am currently at Henzo Sugarland. And yeah, I train as much as I can now. Before I was like Ashley too. I mean, I wasn't training. I had kids, and kind of was making excuses not to train. But I'm actually, believe it or not, kind of enjoying it right now. So it's a little bit addicting, but yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So I'm gonna kind of start to lead into some questions with you, Ashley. So where did the idea for Girls and Geese come from, and how did it get started? What kind of got the ball rolling?
So the idea came because I saw that the guys all had this camaraderie and this like friendship, and it was just, they went to jujitsu, and there was like jujitsu, but there was also your like gang was there, and they just had so much fun. And I was like, I like Belinda and Vicki trained at the same like school, but we were at different like locations of the same school, and they were like an hour away. And Tati was like starting out, like check it out. But for me, I didn't really have many other women training partners. I didn't have the camaraderie that the guys had, and I really wanted that. And I thought if I could get girls in Houston to get together, then at least we could make a group, and we could be like a normal guys class, right? We could be like a group of like 20 of us that could hang out and train and have fun and really get to know each other. And I did this program. There's like self-development program where you create a community project, and you're supposed to create something that isn't necessarily helping other people, but just something that brings a community together. And so inside that program, it gave me the structure to start Girls and Geese, and it gave me like homework that I had to do each week to grow it. And so I'm a very good student. I'm like, if you give me an assignment, I will do the assignment. And so it just worked. And so it said like, okay, this week you're gonna do that. You're gonna find media And I was like, okay, I'll find some media for girls and geese. And back then it was back then the internet wasn't quite what it is today, 15 years later, but there was that forum, that like texasmma.com forum. And I remember I posted a flyer on texasmma.com, like any girls that do jujitsu, come to this thing. And I called every school that I knew of in Houston, which in 2015 or 2005, there's probably like 5. And so I called like the 5 schools, and there was one I knew that had a couple girls, and I really called them a lot. They didn't call me back. But from like posting on TexasMMA.com, like all these people from Dallas and Austin came. And I was like, oh, I never even thought about Dallas and Austin people wanting to come train, but it was like that. So yeah, I just did my homework in this class, and it like caused it to just slowly grow.
Nice. And it's a question for all of you, what did women's jujitsu look like in 2009? Like, if you were to paint the picture, for a lot of the new generation of women have no clue. So tell me, what was jujitsu like for women in 2009?
I'll tell you.
This is a good thing for me to say, right? Because Vicki and Ashley were my only partners. Well, we had other people, but it didn't go, they didn't go consecutively or at first. So with Ashley, she lived in Houston. So we would actually have to go to Westheimer like on weekends or whatever. And the only person that I had training with me all the time was Vicki. So it's kind of funny because we're still like training together but now there's more people. But at first,
how old was Vicki at the time?
Vicki was 15.
So
I was 15. I remember being so amazed seeing Ashley. Like, I was so excited. I was like, oh my goodness.
The highest that we seen, and we're like, oh, a purple belt, And so that if that gives you any idea, and Christian also was a purple belt. And she would come too. What's her last name? Christian Summers from Draculino, right? She would come too, and I'd be like, oh, purple belt. So every time she would come, I'm like, oh, purple belt, so I can roll with. But thinking about the first couple of girls and geese, do you remember? Like, there wasn't not even enough women that we knew that we had contact with. That the guys from Elite were the ones that were helping us and teaching us and making sure we were doing the correct one, if I remember correctly. And so that was kind of the normal back then, right? Because it wasn't learning from a girl, it was learning from a male. So whenever we got to see and learn from the females, we were like, oh, it was just so awesome. So that's my take on it back then when we first started. Like, there was the males, also the guys from the Elite, like Rob and Ashley's husband, Hi, and they would come in, and Vincent, and they would come in and make sure like we're doing it correctly. Yes, I don't know how to say it, but making sure we're learning correctly, because we had Ashley, but a purple belt, to us it was amazing, right? But for the guys, it was just, oh, she's a purple belt, I'm gonna have to help her out. So it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to think back and look at, because that's how it was. It was like, okay, the highest that I've known is a purple belt. Then when girls and geese started getting more, I think it was like every week you had it back then. You had a
once a month. It seemed like every week, because we were like getting to drive far, but it was like once a month.
It was like every month. Yeah, because we had to keep driving. So it started getting, more girls started coming in, and I remember Trin, and then I look back at the pictures and I see Tati, and I'm like, wait a minute, people been going for a long time. Miss Deborah. And then I think in the first anniversary was at Elite Baytown. And then I think the second one, when Fabiana she did the seminar, and that was the first black belt that I was like, a black belt. That was the first female black belt that I actually got to see, not like seeing on the videos, or that the first black belt that I actually seen in person. So that was kind of cool. And that didn't happen until like a couple of years after we had come together and go to the Girls and Geese every month.
Fran
So
to keep track of all the black belt. Whenever a woman would come to Texas, she'd be like, "This person just came to Texas," and so that's how we got on Fabiana. That's how small it was, and she'd be like, "You got to talk to Fabiana. Let's like." I was like, "Okay, I'll be friends with She
Yeah.
yeah, she was actually the first one. I was like, oh, Five Guy, and she wasn't even from Houston, right? She was from Dallas or
Oh, she was from Austin. Well, she's from Brazil.
Boston.
She was like in Austin. Yeah. But so tell me a little bit, Ashley, tell me about the early days of setting it up. Like Belinda kind of tapped onto it. Like there wasn't a lot of women to teach. So we did have the guys teaching in the beginning.
Yeah, I think usually High would help. Yeah, like High would help out because he just wanted to make sure it went well, right? And then I was like having fun. And I think he knows too, like how hard it is to manage a room of people that have never really trained before and make sure they're all having fun. And I set it up so that I could train, but I couldn't train if I'm making sure all these new people aren't getting hurt. So he would like come to make sure that happened. And I used to like have a box of old gis that I just like a big tote of old gis that I carried around because I'm pretty sure Tati didn't have a gi the first time. I probably like let you borrow one or got you one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to just like carry in the back of my car a bunch of gis and I'd be like, send your girlfriends, send whoever. Like it doesn't matter if they've ever trained before, just send people. Because I used to get mad that I didn't have training partners. I remember one time Jordan told me, he's like one of the black belts at our school. Jordan was like, you're never like a training partner is not going to show up for you. You have to build your own training partners. So I guess that's also why I started the girls class, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to build my own training partners. Then I'm gonna have a class specifically for us, and I'm gonna see what I can do, how I can do it.
Absolutely. What was your experience, Tatiana, coming in? I mean, I know you were fairly new when Girls and Geese started, and I'm curious to see what your experience was early on with Girls and Geese.
Well, I was very thankful that there was a women's class, and it was just I don't know, the whole thing was so overwhelming just because to me it was really complicated. I was like, okay, how am I gonna, grasp all these things and remember and be able to apply and all that. So but I did have my kids as well who believe it or not, when they were that little, they knew more than I did. They still do, but we could help each other. So that was kind of nice. But yeah, the class, it was nice that we had a women's class and that, there was girls and geese. But again, there were so few of us that, I don't know, it was fun. I liked it. But like, even in the class situation, like there was never really a lot of people that were consistent. So it was like in and out of, a few people one week and then not so many the next week. So for the women to actually stay put and, it took a while. So it was a lot of that, but you get used to that and then you train with the guys and that becomes normal. So yeah, it was just a few of us. So that it was nice. But then, we were definitely wanting more women to come and share. But yeah, so it was good. I had my kids to train with. They could answer my questions. I could answer their questions. And the women that I met were, amazing. So it was great.
Nice. I think we still have that problem where there's still a revolving door of women in jujitsu, but there's just more of them coming through the door. That's the difference, and more of them are sticking. As opposed to back then, it was like, oh, maybe some girlfriend got forced into doing it, and she just did it to make him happy or made her dad happy or whatever. And then as a teenager, Vicki, what was your experience with Girls and Geese? Like, I mean, you literally started, as a child, and now you're a mother yourself, and you're bringing your daughter to Girls and Geese. What was it like for you back in the day?
I was super amazed, more of like, oh my goodness, like I can do it. I have the possibility of training. It was just my mom. It was a lot of guys, a lot of teams. You know, I was just amazed, excited. I felt like, you know, this is my place. This is a place where I can just enjoy being with other girls and not have like just the to me it wasn't uncomfortable, and I didn't see no uncomfort like with going with men, but with going with women it's friendships. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna roll, we're gonna train, and then we talk afterwards, and then we laugh and have fun afterwards. So it was nice to have that friendship and that togetherness, and seeing like just a lot of women doing it and being purple belts and being black belts. It really gave me the motivation to just keep going.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the point, right? What was the purpose of setting out? I know, Ashley, you talked about, wanting more women to train with. Was there any other agenda behind Girls and Geese on a wider scale that you set out with in the beginning?
I mean, I guess too, like empowering women. Like jujitsu does so much for you, and I felt like it was closed off. The door wasn't open to jujitsu for most women, and everybody I know that has started jujitsu and stuck with it, at least like if you can stick it out for a year, who you are at the end of that year is totally different than who you were at the beginning of that year. And I didn't see many other things for women like that. And so I was like, I wanted it to be open and available to people. And I mean, we all know, like, because it's a life-changing sport to do, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to say something because I just remembered. She's not giving herself enough credit, because this lady right there is like, she was so empowering. She's one of the main reasons why I even stayed in jujitsu, and even still to this day, still going. I remember that one thing that she still says that 1 year, do 1 year and you'll change. And I remember another thing she said, if they pass your guard, you die. Don't let them pass your guard. But it's things like that that she would say, that she would do, that she inspired me to keep going. I remember just hearing her speak, and I don't think she realizes like the power of her words, or the power of what she would say. It was a reason why I feel so even passionate about Girls and Geese to this day. Of course, I got to know you, but the reason why I feel so empowered even about jujitsu is because how she was in the beginning, and how she talked, and she was empowering. And I don't think she realized, and I don't think I ever told her. I tried to, but I don't think I ever told her how much like you meant to my journey, and the Girls and Geese, and not only but having you as a training partner, and the Girls and Geese, when I seen that you were so passionate about something, and you didn't even say it like, okay, I'm gonna be out to change everything. You're just saying what you wanted. You wanted to make jujitsu accessible for all women. You wanted to show the little girls that they could do it. You wanted to show the women that they could do it. And that is like the basis of it, right? Because what you did is, it just sparked something, and made it bigger in a lot of people, and a lot of women, and in me, because like it changed everything for me. It changed the trajectory of where I was going. It changed my mind. It changed what I wanted. I became a better person, and I train, and I see training not like, I remember girls used to say, oh, how can you take women sweating on you, and men sweating on you? I'm like, I don't ever see it that way. I'm just seeing it as learning how to do something, like, so it was kind of, at first it was kind of like you had, and not saying anything, because this is just how people are. There were people like, but you're rolling with guys, but you don't care. No, like, I don't see it that way. Your husband don't care? And I'm like, no. And it was weird because like, it was never like that. And when Ashley talked, or when she made Girls and Geese, and I seen other women who trained too, and they went the same, so they feel the same. So why couldn't it be that like that? Why couldn't it be bigger? And what you guys did with Girls and Geese, y'all made it, you made it bigger, and it made it accessible to everybody, and made it possible, and made it possible for everybody to see their possibilities, like in jujitsu, because it spread, and it's not just one little space, if that makes any sense. Like at the first class that I did the women's class. Remember, I was a blue belt at Elite, and if it wasn't for Ashley, like some of them girls are still training to this day, and they're black belts. So if it wasn't for like Ashley, of course they started in the girls, but they ended up in the regular class. But if it wasn't for Ashley, like, you can do it, you can do this, you can. And I remember one of the belt tests, and she was like, "What? None of your girls are gonna get promoted or test?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "Yeah, they are. You think they should be?" And I was like, "Yes." "Okay, yes, they are." And she went and she talked to them, and she made it okay with this girl and this girl going to be added to the list. So she is, I don't know how, she's not giving herself enough credit what she did in the beginning, because she is awesome. She is amazing, and she opened a lot of minds, and she opened a lot of possibilities for other females, and that's pretty freaking awesome. So I just wanted to say that.
Absolutely.
I think one of the things when you asked about what it was like for women in 2005 and 2009 was, men didn't think women should do jujitsu, especially Brazilians. Like it was not okay in Brazil for women to be doing this. And even like at our school, we do the gauntlet, but I've never been allowed to do the gauntlet, because whoever was there at the promotions was like, no, women don't do this. Or people would like barely do it. I'm like, what? I'm like, I earned this, right? I earned this. I did this. And I think one of the reasons too why I pushed women doing it so hard is, one day there were these guys in the class, and they were like, "This is the man zone. We don't want any women around here. This is the man zone." And I'm sitting right next to them, and they're white belts. I'm a white belt. And I just thought to myself, I'm going to be here longer than you, and I'm going to kick your ass one day. And you can have your man zone, but you're going to be crying in your man zone. And we were like, and so I don't know why. It's like, somebody can say one little thing to you and it fuels you. And I can still picture those guys. I have no idea who they are. They didn't make it past white belt, but I was like, I'm taking your man zone, and we're doing this.
Well, I think that I did this podcast with Emily Kwok back a while back, and she talked about, it was actually when we first started the podcast, and she was like, there was just something about women back in the day from our generation where they're just not quite right in the head, where like we are willing to like kind of speak our mind. I mean, you had to have real thick skin to start off when we did, I mean, you had to put up with a lot. You had to listen to the guys talk inappropriately about women. You had to watch them ogle the new women as they came in, like you were in the man zone, but there were a select few of us who were like, no, we're going to make this more inclusive. So yeah, and like you talked about too, Ashley never gives herself enough credit, because like if not for her, I don't know what the heck I would be doing with my life. like I don't know at all. So here I am like doing this, and you've always been incredibly supportive since the beginning of when I stepped in, and so I always say the greatest gift Ashley ever gave me was to take the reins of Girls and Geese and run with it, because it's been a blast running with it. I'll tell you that. And I hope that I done you proud.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing. Like, 'cause it would not look this way if you hadn't taken the reins and run with it, right? It would not have grown this big. It would have, nobody believed that it could be this big. Everyone around me was like, whatever. That's like a little thing you can do or whatever. So,
that's what I was going to ask. Did you ever think that when you started this, it would catapult into what it is?
No. Like I said, I did it out of a project for a class, In the rules for the project, your community has to have between 20 and 200 people. And I was like, I mean, I think there's 20 people that do jujitsu, 20 women that do jujitsu, like in Houston. I was like, I think there's 20.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lie, and I'm gonna say there's 20. I wasn't even really sure. And so yeah, I had no idea. I just thought it would be I thought it'd be like a small local gathering.
Yeah.
Right. But I've been asked to somebody I was at a conference one time and somebody found out I did jujitsu and they're like, hey, have you heard about this thing called Girls and Geese? Look, let me show it to you on Instagram. Like, you should go do this thing. And I was like, I've been there, dude. I know.
I started it. No, which is funny because so I came in about 2010 after it had already been kind of going for a while. And for me, I was the same thing where I came from an academy where I had one other woman, but she was like built like a guy. Like, she was just completely opposite sides of me. It was like rolling with the guy in a lot of ways. It was like I was a small woman in a sea of big men, MMA guys back in those days, right? And so Girls and Geese, and I was not used to cross train. I came from a very old school Brazilian. We do cross train. Everybody else is the enemy. Like, no, like, don't ever even look at them. Like, they're not even human. Kind of weird stuff like that, right? And so when Girls and Geese was like, oh wow, it's all flowery and we're friends and we get along and we're not enemies, and it's funny that you say, no, I never said that, because of how much it changed my life, just being a part of the community. I was like, this is going to be huge and I'm going to make it huge. I'm going to blow this up. So I'm curious, because I know doing this now, I've faced a lot of challenges and the climate has changed for women's sports as a whole. What are some things that you had to face early on as far as challenges in launching this program?
Definitely the cross training. Definitely in 2009, I don't think any schools cross trained. You didn't go to open mats of other schools. You didn't do that. There wasn't YouTube, like, you didn't watch videos of other people. You didn't put your own videos out there because people might know what you do and things like it was very secretive. And
yeah, I was gonna say, you don't want to let your secrets get out.
Yeah. And like learning technique was so hard back then because everybody was so secretive about their technique. And so, you didn't, so like even telling my husband that I wanted to do this and I wanted to teach something, he'd be like, well, don't teach something good, like, like a basic armbar. And I'm like, no, I want to teach like the fun moves I love doing. And he's like, maybe keep that one to yourself. Maybe, whatever. So yeah, back then it was for that. I remember so the challenges that I faced, there's definitely the cross training. And like I said in the beginning, like no other Houston schools came. And I think that's why. I think it was like from other cities, okay, well, we can do something with another city. But the first event had people from elite and other cities. There was no other Houston school that came. And it was probably years before another Houston school did come, like before it became, okay, this is okay to do. That and being trusted, like, so like the guys would help out in the beginning, but like being trusted that we have this, that we don't need you to step in and teach, and we don't need you to supervise us or to watch over us or things like that. We can do this.
No. Well, and I'm curious for all of you, and I have a feeling that's exactly what was the case, because that has broken down. Like, people cross train a lot more now, right? It's become a lot more normal. And how I used to sell it is, well, you don't really care about the women, so what does it matter if we're training together? Like, you don't really care about us, so it's, whatever. Let us just train together.
Yeah, I think I had to say that. I think I had to sell it to one of the black belts at the gym. I think did not want me to do this, and I had to be like, look, I don't have people to train with at my school, so if you can get me 20 girls that are here, I'll do it. But also, you don't think what I'm doing is like competent or legitimate either. So what does it matter? I'm not smart enough to go teach your secrets. to somebody. So just let us do it.
Well, you both showed them though, didn't you?
No, but I think like it's how it said with Emily, I think birds of a feather, right? Like we all the crew that was even when I came in like a year later, the crew that was running with Girls and Geese, we were all so like-minded. We were all so completely different, but we were so like-minded in that we knew that it's like change comes from knowing that it can be that better than what it is and that you have the ability to do it, right? And that's exactly what happened. And that's what led your vision. You were a visionary completely, Ashley. You had a vision of what because there were no other open mats for women. There were no open mats in general for anybody. There weren't it was not the climate that we have now where you can find a women's open mat if you throw a rock, right? There's many everywhere. So I'm sorry, I'm going to keep kind of moving through it. How has being a part of Girls and Geese, and this is something for all of you, but how has being a part of that community, how has it impacted your journey moving through? Because, now most of you are black belts. Most of you are still training somewhat at level. How has that helped to kind of shape your journey moving forward?
To me, it shaped a lot. To me, it shaped my whole training, right? Because I didn't know, sorry, I didn't know um anything about jujitsu. I just knew that my kids were training. I wanted to train, and I didn't know anything about, I didn't know about all these competitions. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know anything about that. And with Girls and Geese, it showed me like there's there's other places, right? To me, it was just this little elite, right? And now I see like all these teams, all these black belts, all these it's a whole new community, Now it just it showed me that like you don't have to just be a competitor, you don't have to just you can be a mother, you can be whatever, because I've met so many people in the Girls and Geese that like people are just starting when they're 40, mothers, bakers, like competitors. There's a whole community out there, and it makes me like thinking, hey, I'm gonna be training until whenever I can, because I'm a Girls and Geese, and I can do it kind of thing, So if there's not a system in place, then I know that there can be, because of what Girls and Geese did, So it helped me with that, taking my whole vision of just training, because at first it was just training, right? I just wanted to train. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to train. I wanted my kids to train, to learn self-defense and learn how to protect themselves. But now it's I go to the Girls and Geese, and I see all the little girls being inspired, and I see the women and getting inspired, and the older people looking at me and saying, hey, I'm 51, I'm 80% blind, we're going through all this, but I'm still training, and if I can do this, they can do it, and that's just a plus for me. It makes me like, hey, I'm gonna keep going. So that right there is what keeps me motivated, because it's not just about me training anymore. It's about showing other people their possibilities. And Girls and Geese did that for me. And of course, a lot of my professor does that. My Ashley, like black belts, I know, of course, they have a hand in that, but it's mostly Girls and Geese and the female that show me like to inspire and to be a light in and I can't even explain it, to be a light in the community, or to show other people, hey, it can be done. I just want to give back what people have gave to me, So I want to my purpose now is to keep training and to keep being me and to keep showing, because when you do that, you inspire other people. Like that's what you and Ashley and you did, right? I mean, you guys inspired a whole lot of women, and how big it is now. And now the way I see it is every Girls and Geese, it's like a ball of light, right? So this person's going to go take it here, 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 so that's how I see training now. So that's where Girls and Geese changed my outlook on, it's not just about training anymore. It's about inspiring everybody, or inspiring the little girls who say they think they can't because it's a men's sport, or the women who say, oh, I can't because I'm 50 years old, and so, oh, I can't because I can't see, or so there's many of us. It's not just me, there's many of us, and there's many examples, and that's the good part about it, that everybody can do it. So that's how it changed training for me. Like now I have a purpose. Now I have a reason to go. I had a purpose before, like, because I want to train. I like to train. I love to train. But now I can spread it out further to everybody or to other people, and that's what makes me feel good. That would be my take out of these years that I've spent on training. I want to give back to jiu-jitsu and to women, or in jiu-jitsu, like they gave to me, like Ashley gave to me, you gave to me, that my professor gave to me, like Hai gave to me when I first started, when he gave that speech, like everybody in my journey. And that's what I want to be. And Girls and Geese made it so clear. So that's one of the reasons how it changed my outlook on my training.
Absolutely. It's like
Sorry, it took a long time for me to express it, but I just ramble sometimes when I'm nervous, and I'm very nervous. But I hope you guys understood what I was trying to say,
No, it's a spider web, right?
Mhm.
And like I tell the ambassadors, I said, if we're in the business of selling anything, we're in the business of selling good vibes, right? Like that experience, we're selling an experience, right? Like you come to these events, you come and I'm not alone, so that's why I'm curious to see what your take. Vicki, as a kid, as a teenager, and growing up in this community, how has it shaped your journey in jiu-jitsu? And now as a mother too, and have kids that are training in it.
So I have all you guys that I looked up to, right? So one of the things that I take away is me being me will inspire all the kids. Me being me, like how y'all showed who y'all are, me being me and being confident and being very knowing that I have all these people who mentored me and inspired me, and I'm going to inspire these kids. I'm going to inspire these women. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to not show that you can do it, because I had all these inspiration. So it gave me the confidence. It gave me like a lot of confidence just for me to be just me, just myself, me grow into who I want to be and know what I want to do and bring out to the people around me. That's what this has given me. That's what Girls and Geese and all of y'all given me, just the self-confidence, just to show the little girls, to show the teens, to show the women that, yeah, we can do 100 million things, and then we can still train and then laugh and have a good time.
No, and that's so important, right? You came into jiu-jitsu at such a crucial part where a lot of women are or a lot of young girls, right? They're moving into womanhood. It's confusing. Yeah. Your bodies are going through changes. Your minds are going through changes. I mean, it's a difficult time. Being a teen girl is hard. Like, it's rough.
I remember sometimes me just randomly crying for no reason, not even knowing why I'm crying. It's just because I cried. Just because I cried. So yes, it's being a teenager is different, especially a girl. So one of the things that I do want to teach, like my daughter and all the teens out there, that yeah, we're gonna have those emotions, but is it gonna stop us? No. So let's just keep training.
My Vicki and my daughter the other day left the mat crying, and some dad saw her, and the dad was like, "Is she okay? Like, is she fine?" I was like, "She's fine. She's a girl doing jujitsu. You're supposed to cry." Like guys, guys get their emotions out by being more like aggressive and physical. Girls cry. I was like, she'll go to the bathroom, she'll wipe her tears, and she'll get back on the mat. And eventually one day I'll teach her, like, save it for the car. Like, wait to, you gotta like, gotta make it so you can get to your car. You can cry all the way home. You wipe your tears and you come back the next day just fine. But
Fine, yes.
like, that's part of the game, right? You don't care enough, or you're not really training if there's not some tears involved.
Definitely.
What about you, Tatiana? How has it impacted your journey?
So I think that for the most part, Girls and Geese is just right now, it's something to look forward to. The group of girls that I have in my circle, we just have this in common, and like we wait for the next Girls and Geese that's kind of close by that we can all go together, and it's really cool, because it's something we have in common. We all get there, we see familiar faces, but I think just the fact that it's grown so much, and there's such a wide range of tiny girls up to, like, the older ones, and so many, and that you're part of it. I think for me, it's just inspiring, like Belinda touched on, and just knowing that, hopefully you can inspire someone there, or you have inspired someone. And it's just a group of us that we're just all there for the same thing. So for me, it's definitely motivating and something to look forward to, and just waiting around for the next one to come. Yeah, and just to be able to know that this is something you really enjoy, and the people around you enjoy it as much as you do, and you just want to keep doing it as long as you can, like she said. So yeah.
Very cool. All right, Ashley, I saved you for last. So how had looking at like how I'll ask the same question. How has it? I know you and I have talked before. You're like, oh, I just hosted one. I'm so inspired. So I'm curious. Please share how this has impacted you in your journey, because I know it has been very different.
Yeah. Well, there's something. So when you talk about Emily Kwok, like Emily Kwok goes along with Girls and Geese because she hosts, Emily and Val host a women's, I forget it's called, women's grappling camp, I think is what it's called. And so about the time I started Girls and Geese, a couple months later, I went to my first women's grappling camp. And it was like a week of just like, it's like adult sleepaway camp. Like I have videos, or I have like pictures of me doing a head and arm choke in the lobby of our hotel room. Like we would run down to the hotel room, like in our gis at like midnight, and be like, okay, challenge you in the lobby. And we would like run down there and like do some moves and go back to our room. Or one year, me and Tori like sat in our room, and we wanted to remember everything we learned at camp. So we tried to reenact the videos, or like we tried to like make our own training videos from what we learned at camp that day, in like half pajamas, half jujitsu gis. It was so fun. And it left me with friends all over the United States that I could call on. If I'm traveling, I could be like, hey, I know this person there. And it really gave me a sense of women are welcoming at other schools. And I've gotten to train at a lot of other schools around the country and not be afraid going in, and not be scared. And it just made it really fun, right? Like it was so much bigger than me. Like when you stick to just your gym, and this idea of, we need to stay with our own people, we need to be closed off, it's really small. And then when you see that everybody's doing this all over the place, and you get to go to different places and try it, and they do mostly the same things that you do, and they have the same problems and the same whatever, and it made it a lot of fun, and it made me keep going. There's no way I wouldn't have kept going if it hadn't have been for a community of women. I mean, even if you look on this call, like Belinda has Vicki and Vincent, and so like you have your kids that you get to train with, and Tati's kids train, and Bill trains, trained for a while. So, and my husband trains, and so it's the ones of us that have people close to us that train too, or who stick with it. When you're doing it by yourself, you can't last this long doing it all on your own. And so Girls and Geese really gave me a community of people to be doing this thing with. That it's like college. Like I got through college because my friends in college were like, we're not dropping out. And I was like, oh, I mean, I was gonna drop out, but I guess I'll keep going because y'all are showing up here next year. So I'm gonna show up next year. And my friend said, I'm like, I have a doctor of pharmacy. My friends are like, you're the least likely person to have a doctorate degree. We thought you were dropping out the first year. Like, I know, but y'all kept going. So I just kept going. Like, I didn't know what to do. So jujitsu is the same way. It's like, now you have friends, they keep showing up. Like, I'm like, when I hear y'all all still train, I mean, I'm like, I have too many kids. And you're like, we make it happen. I'm like, okay. So I'm over here thinking like, okay, I can do this. I can like make it happen. I can figure out a way to get back to the gym. Like just seeing other people do it, you can do it too.
No, absolutely. I'm going to close out with this last one. What is one of your most fondest memories, Girls and Gays memories? There's a lot of them, I know. And it's been a while.
My most, I don't know if like fondest memories, it's all the different gis that I've worn throughout the years. Because you look back at like, what was the coolest gi 15 years ago? You would not be caught dead in now. Like there's fashion to gis.
You remember when the Kira Gracie gi came out and it was like, oh my God, it's the Atama first pink gi. Whoa, we got a gi. Woo!
Yep. Yeah, it's like no big mall pink and everybody. Yeah, it's like the only women's gi. And then I had that Volcom like purple gi.
I remember you had a green one too. I remember you had a green one. I was so excited seeing all your colorful gis. It inspired me to get colorful gis too.
We only had the HSUs. Is that how you say it? The first. So seeing you with yours, we're like, wait a minute, there's more.
Yeah, I used to like you had to like order them from Brazil. I would like, like, and it's not like they have like internet shopping like there is now either. You had to be like, okay, I know somebody that can like get this from Brazil and like bring it back for me, or what. It was a thing. Yeah, now there's like so many gis, it's like nothing. But back then it was, and it's like you'd have to like a new one like style for this thing.
But what's one of your most fondest memories?
For me, I really don't have one favorite, right? Because they're all, and if I would really have to say, it was when just being on the mat with my daughter and my granddaughter. That was one of the things that I was still able, there was still a Girls and Geese, that now I'm on the mat, me, my daughter, and my granddaughters. So that's this last one. I mean, I have a lot of special ones, but this one, when I did the seminar at Cross Collar, and then I realized like all these little girls, they were coming up to me and they were like asking me questions, and like, oh, look, a black belt. And and then my granddaughters were looking and they're like, that's my grandma. So like, I want to cry because it makes me think. So then like, I knew, like, I try to be inspirational to them all the time, right? Because they're my granddaughters, so I try. But when they actually sat there and they looked at me, that's my grandma, that's my grandma. So that right there was the most special thing, because it not only did I get to experience Girls and Geese, my daughter, but now that my granddaughter and my granddaughters get to, and I'm hoping that it keeps going, because that's what we're gonna do, right? Keep going, and Girls and Geese is gonna keep going, and that's just the possibilities. And that I seen it that last year. And I can see I'm getting emotional, and that really, that was really a special moment to me, that for me, when I got to do that one and had my daughter there and my granddaughters, and then having these little girls telling me, asking me questions, asking a black belt, and then my granddaughters and looking at me and smiling and like, that's my grandma, so that was a really cool moment for me.
They're super proud. That's right, my grandma can kick your grandma's butt.
They say that, but they say that to their parents, and I'm like, wait a minute, don't tell your dad that. Don't say nothing,
because it's still true to this day.
What about you, Vicki? What's one of your favorite memories?
I would say for the first time, because that was really, and I was like a teenager, so it was really like my hormones were, I was emotional. I didn't know what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. And just being there the first time and seeing all of these girls and women and me feeling like I'm not alone, that one was a big one. Another one would be watching my mom do the seminar. It was like, okay, if she can do it, then yeah, I can do it. Like, that's my mom. I can do it. I can do it. So those would be the big two memories, just to keep me or keep my mindset that, look, all people can do it. So if all people can do it, then I can do it. So why can't I do it? So that's those are the memories.
Awesome. Those are good ones.
Okay, was just thinking about this now. The one that stands out the most is probably the Girls and Geese that Ashley you did at your newest location. It wasn't that long ago. And you were speaking, and you got emotional, and then I was like, just kind of looked around. It was a huge group of women and children, and everyone was just kind of obviously listening to what Ashley had to say. But I think at that moment, I was like, this is so freaking cool, because like she did all this, she started all this, and look what it's come to. And then she happened to call me out on something which I wasn't expecting. And I was just like, oh God, and then I was like kind of getting a little choked up. But at that moment, I just kind of took it all in, and it was pretty cool. So that was kind of, I want to say, my coolest moment. Yeah, for Girls and Geese.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And it's Ashley, you're gonna be so damn proud. I mean, seriously, you changed. And that's my last and final question is, do you think that Girls and Geese has played its part in shaping women's jiu-jitsu into what it is today?
Yeah, I definitely do. Like there's just so many more opportunities, and there's so much available. There's so many women that do jiu-jitsu, and you can go to local tournaments now and have competition. You can, there's so much available now. And I don't think that would have been possible without, I mean, like I said, it coincided with Emily's, there's like a couple of things that all happened about the same time. And I think those really shifted the culture. And yeah, it's hard to, so like here, it's like with the five of us, I can like talk normally, but like Tati said, like when I see it as a group of people, like when I see the actual like events, it's really hard for me to like contain my emotions, because it is a little overwhelming to be like, wow, this is, I mean, it's impacted so many people's lives, and it's hard to acknowledge that, your little idea impacted so many people's lives.
Absolutely. The power of change, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we did it. We matter. We matter. Damn it.
I think that's what's the weird about it, because none of us really look at it that way, right? Like we're just training, right? we just like to train. That's how it is. But it's not just we just like to train, right? It's something more than that. And Girls and Geese give women that platform to be able to show what they're capable of, to show what they can do. And that's what inspires everyone else, just like we do, I can't even say it without smiling, because it's hard for me to think that I inspire people, but I just do what I do, right? But we do, and Girls and Geese give people that platform. Like they give women an opportunity to teach and get paid, and that, like, I remember the first time I got paid, from doing a seminar, and I was like, I got paid. I was texting everybody, I got paid to teach jiu-jitsu. So it's pretty awesome, I don't think like we all give ourselves that much credit. And I like Tati, her, like when I first seen her, she never took, like I told people, like, she was there at the beginning when I was a blue belt. So she's been training for like 15 years. And they're like, oh, she didn't. But she's so quiet, and she don't say everything that people don't know it. And I'm like, how to be so I started telling people, yeah, she's been training for 15 years, like she's really good. She just and I think all of us have that little quietness about us that we don't say and we don't acknowledge, like, shit, like girls and
Well,
geese.
I
Oh,
think
sorry.
Belinda, you told me that, and I was just like, I couldn't believe it myself. I mean, obviously, I guess if I did the math with the kids, yeah, sure, it has been that long. But looking back, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. And then I feel like, especially now, since I get to see, Belinda, you and your daughter more at these events, like that too is incredible because like I realize it's been this long and we've been able to maintain this connection through Girls and Geese, specifically because of Girls and Geese. So that's incredible in itself because like, you guys are inspiring and amazing, and like seeing you again and you and your daughter, like, your progression and then what you're teaching and being able to learn from you and get, I'm lucky. So I'm very fortunate for that.
Thank you. And that's, thank you. And that's what Girls and Geese do, right? That's what Ashley and Shama, like, you started it and you just lit it, and everybody's now just lit, and like it must be how now let me ask, how does it make you feel? Because you actually, Shama, you did it too, you took the reins and you made it to what it is. So how does it make it, how does it feel to you to have all these women of the lives that you changed, that you sparkled, that you gave the light to, showing the way?
So when I was involved with Girls and Geese, I was an avid competitor. Like that's how I came in, and I was like going out and competing all the time, and that was my whole life. But being a competitor is extremely selfish, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so Girls and Geese was, like I say, it was a gift. Like it was such a gift that kind of just fell into my lap, that it was like that was what I was supposed to do once I realized it. And I remember when I first started doing it, I was like, Ashley, I don't know how to be a leader. I have no idea what the hell. Like I can't lead anybody. I can't even lead a horse to water. Like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is not in my, like, I just want to help make it happen. And Ashley was a huge part in the beginning, and it's like pushing, like, you need to understand your value. You need to charge for the, like, if we can't, if, and that's something that it took a very long time to stick with me, because those damn events were free for like almost a decade. But it finally was like, if I can't, I'm doing that. I couldn't acknowledge my own value, but I saw that we were doing a disservice to women by not paying them to teach, right? Because the beginning it was, oh, we don't matter, we don't matter. And then it was like, okay, well, we matter. Well, then now we really should matter. If we're teaching and providing a service, we need to. So it's actually taught me in so many ways to like value myself, but I valued everybody else before myself was the last one that I but I was like, well, I should value myself if I'm valuing these instructors. So but my point in all of this rambling is that as much as Girls and Geese grew and became, that was a progression and growth of myself completely. I came into jujitsu on a voyage of self-discovery. I had no idea who I was or what I was capable when I came into this sport. And Girls and Geese, another tool that, like I said, my lap, to where it gave me incredible purpose to know that I was other women and utilizing this platform that Ashley had created, this vision to to give other women an opportunity to shine, to come into their own, to get paid as instructors, to become leaders as ambassadors. I mean, it's become a huge snowball. And like I said, when I first stepped into this role, I knew exactly what I was doing. I was going to blow this up. And I did. And we all did. And it was a huge joint effort. And no matter what you want to call it, girls and geese, sweaty betties, grappling getaway, whatever the hell you're calling it, it doesn't matter. We did it as a collective effort. And I'm honored and privileged to have had that. And I'm so grateful to Ashley, like I said, over all the years, to have trusted me to kick past the ball to me and let me score the goal for all of us. So yeah, it's been a complete team effort. And like I said, I fell into my purpose and I knew there was strength in numbers and we had to show we could get the numbers, and that was the only way we were going to show that we mattered. And that was phase one. And we definitely accomplished that. I remember Trin, she's like, do we really need girls and geese anymore? Kind of hit the goal, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're going all the way. There will always be a purpose for us. And like you touched on now, it's like it's super important for us to teach the kids that how to be like, we can all be friends in this and we can be supportive in this, and teach them how to come into their own and feel comfortable in who they are and feel confident, and how to kind of shape the whole future of where you just go, because we have a place at the table now, so we're going to use it, right? So
Yeah,
it's been an honor and privilege, and I couldn't have done it without any of you, you know, like I said. And I am extremely proud and extremely grateful, and it has literally been the greatest love story of my life.
And it's to be continued.
And it's to be continued. We're just getting older. It's just that
We're just getting older. It's all good. Whatever you need me to do, I'll be glad to do it. Girls and geese.
I'm so grateful to all of you, because if not for all of you going out there and supporting Ashley and showing up at these events in the beginning, you know what? None of us would be sitting here right now talking about it. So,
I think.
Any final notes before we sign off? I know it was we covered a lot today.
Well,
there was one thing that I wanted to say. So I remembered one of the memories in the first beginning, that I think it was Frost. There was a fax that sent, and it was like Girls and Geese title on it, and it says all girls in your gym come at this day. And I remember Frost showed it to me, and that was my first indication. And I remember like just being so excited and not being able to sleep. And like, I don't even know if I was just talking about it because I was so excited. But I remember that looking at that paper, and it said Girls and Geese on it. And it just said to all women, not to like all gyms or anything. It said to all women. And that's what I wanted to say, because I just remembered it right now.
The call to all women.
Oh, yes.
that's right. That's pretty cool memory.
Anything anybody else want to add? Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, really just thank you to everyone. It's like you said, it took all of us to get here. And thank you to everyone and everyone along the way that's made the difference and that's grown with this. And it took the whole community to make this happen.
Absolutely. And we're just getting started, you know? Our seat at the table is just getting bigger. We're just bringing more. Like, all right, like you gave us one seat, we're taking them all.
We're taking another one.
And that's funny to say, right? Like we just get, like it's been 15 years.
I know.
Right? Like it's
another
been over 10 years. over 10 years. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, sharing your vision, Ashley. Like I said, none of us would be sitting here talking if not for you being an A student and following through on your homework. And like, really, like, I am going to ace this. I get it. You know, if not for that, like, again, we would not, and none of us would be sitting here. And maybe women's jiu-jitsu wouldn't look like what it is now. Maybe it would have taken longer, you know, who knows? I mean, I think eventually we would get there, but I don't think without all of us do, I don't think that we definitely played a part for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, Well, thank you everybody for
Thank you,
tuning.
ladies.
Thank you, ladies.